being a combat medic. If I left that job solely onto me, then I would only be able to help or save one person's life. You can't do everything by yourself.
Hey everyone, I'm Burton, and welcome to PropStream Pros, the podcast where we dive into the lives of real estate professionals who've made it. In each episode, we'll explore how they got started, challenges they faced, and the strategies that helped them succeed, so that you can learn from their journey and apply those insights to your own path. Whether you're just getting started or already building a portfolio, there's something here for everyone. So make sure to subscribe, follow, and join us as we talk to professionals who've made their own success.
On this episode of PropStream Pros, Burton sits down with Oscar Erazo, a former Navy combat medic who rebuilt his life through real estate after rock bottom. From zero experience in 2019 to operating assisted living homes, this is a story of resilience, purpose, and redefining wealth.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Burton. Welcome to another amazing episode of PropStream Pros today. And today I have a really awesome guest who I had the chance to spend many different occasions with, got to learn not just his business, but him out on a personal level. And I just had to bring him on because I wanted him to share his story. I do believe his story can inspire not just me, but those that are listening. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me give a big warm welcome to Oscar Erazo. Is that correct, Oscar? Am I saying it right? Yeah, I need to see. I got to be really good at enunciating my R's. My son, he's half Mexican. Shout outs to his mom, who's from Michoacan. But I want to make sure he learns how to roll R's. So I got to be the example, right? I got to lead by example. So definitely got to roll my R's. But thank you for joining us today. How are you, man?
I'm doing well, man. I've been looking forward to this. I know we've been talking about it for a few months now, and we've both been busy. But I'm excited for it. I had to do a quick push-ups right before just so I can let go of some energy because I've been looking forward to it, man. And it's PropStream was one of the first platforms that I got to use when I first started. So becoming friends with you and just doing this, it's kind of like a full circle, and it's cool because it's highlighted in a way how far I've came from when I first started. Yeah, and it's a very cool thing.
I love that, man. And I tell people all the time, the thing I like about our PropStream in general is this: the people I've met through the services that we provide, which is the real estate data. But I tell people all the time, for me, and this is me personally, I always look at it as a win-win-win situation. Yeah. And you're right. I said win 3 times. Why? Because from a business standpoint, we provide a service. The company wins. We get paid. But then I know that you use the data to achieve your financial freedom to take care of the things that you need to take care of, which is another win. But then I also realized what you guys do with this data. You're out there using this data to solve homeowners and buyers' problems, which that's the third win. So again, as much as you're very, very, thankful to be here, it goes both ways. So I'm just happy that our paths got to cross and we're here today. So let's get started with, obviously, if you guys can read between the lines, if you're listening, Oscar here has been involved in real estate. So let's start there. Oscar, how long have you been dabbling in real estate? How long have you been involved in it?
Coming up, I want to say since 2019. So almost 6 years now, almost.
This would be your 6th year.
Yeah,
nice.
almost.
Okay.
Mind you, no real estate experience whatsoever. None. Zero. But
well, let me dissect that a little bit.
Go ahead.
What do you mean by no real estate experience? Like, what does experience mean to you? Because I hear this a lot. Like, people that are trying to get into the industry, they'll say a few things like, I'm not ready or I'm not prepared. They have their reasons. So I like to peel the onion back a little bit.
For sure.
When you say I didn't have the experience or I came into this industry with no experience, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so what I mean by experience is that I didn't know the lingo. I did not know how to have a conversation about real estate. I didn't know much besides what a mortgage was, right? And the only reason why I knew what that was is because you could kind of relate it to rent. You pay it every month to someone.
Valid point.
But as far as anything else, I didn't know anything, nothing, zilch, nada. But the one thing that I did know was that I wanted to be in real estate.
Oh, so you just had this drive. Like I may see walls in front of me, but we're just breaking through them no matter what.
I would.
I love that.
It's like, so I would take my kids on purpose. We would drive to super beautiful neighborhoods with these super.
Wait, so you're a father?
Yeah.
You have kids?
Yeah, I have two kids.
Awesome. I mean, do you have? You said 2 kids.
Yeah, a daughter.
Hey, there you go. We'll make sure. Obviously, we'll blur them out just to make sure for their security reasons. But that's amazing. That's good to know. So you're a father of 2 children, a boy and a son. And you were saying you should take them into the neighborhoods. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, a daughter and a son. Cam is my son and Alyssa is my daughter. And we would drive. I would take them through these beautiful, beautiful neighborhoods. And even now we still do it. Where I tell them, look, our house is being built in this neighborhood. And we're going to get there, but I had no clue how we're going to get there. Right now, I have a better understanding. I have a blueprint of it. But then it's like I'm trying to teach them how to put something out there, work for it, and then it's going to happen. Right? You got to manifest what you want. So I would take them to the Beverly Hills, all these other nice places. And our house is being built. Our house is being built. And that's just me telling them, so then I can remind myself, hey, we got to do, if you really want to do this, you just told your kids that our house is being built in a neighborhood that looks like this. So we got to keep going. We got to keep going.
I love that. So you've created this goal, which allows you to also hold yourself accountable.
Yes.
So that you can achieve not just your dreams, but provide for your 2 beautiful children. That's a good thing to do. That's actually really cool. You know what that just reminded me of, the way you said it? It's like, as a kid, you have these little puzzles like start and end, and you have all those little areas you go, and you might bump into a wall. It's like that. Like, in order for you to even create that maze, you got to have a start and an end. And I like that. You've created that vision end, if you will. And the neighborhood is, it in a sense, that maze, right? And eventually one day it will lead there. I just sense chills, man. I love that.
Me too, because it encompasses everything. It encompasses pressure. It encompasses you holding yourself responsible, right? And it gives you this tangible evidence that if they can do it, those people that live in those houses, then why not you? Or why not your kids? So it's there, And what I think is that a lot of people always wait for this perfect time. And what you know as well as I do, Bert, that there is no such thing as a perfect time. The perfect time is right now. Not doing it. Doing it right now is the perfect time. Not tomorrow. It wasn't yesterday. It's not going to be a year from now. It's right now. And you know what? Backtrack. While I was doing all this and when I got into real estate, I was going through a divorce. So I was like heartbroken, I was going through so many different things in my mind, but it made me see, it peeled everything, right? Like the house that we lived in stripped away, the life that I had with my significant other stripped away, the city that I lived in stripped away, oh wow, like my kids and their lives that they had was stripped away from them. But from all that stripping away, I got to see me, and I was still there. And it got to show me that I was part of all of that, and that as long as I was still there, I can get all that stuff back, right? Me and my hard work and everything that I have wasn't stripped away. All the other crap that doesn't matter was, but as long as I was part of the solution, then I can get that back. It might take a little bit longer, but I'm that big key that I know I can do it. So yeah, I was able to see
Man,
that. I was able to see that. I was able to see the person that I was, because that's when you realize who you are. When you get everything taken away and you're like, man, like, what am I going to do? I have 2 kids. Everything's falling apart. Am I just going to crumble and cry and play victim and be like, oh man, this isn't fair. That's not fair. Or are you going to be like, hey, you know what? That's it. It is what it is. I am hurting and I do feel bad for myself to some extent. But what am I going to do? What are you going to do? And I think me being in the military helped me think that way, to where it's like, Oscar, what are you going to do right now?
Oscar, thank you for sharing that. Man, that's a lot, first and foremost. And sorry you had to experience it. But I say that too because I also understand, well, it is something that you don't ever want to wish even on your worst enemy. I know I wouldn't. I've kind of had a similar situation unfold. To your point, I feel like you do sometimes need to be stripped down to your core, right? In a sense, you do need to know what your rock bottom is to be able to feel, hey, I never want to be here again. Yeah. Like, that's it. Like that feeling, it sucks. I don't like it. Let's do what we got to do to get out of here. Yeah. So let me ask you this, because I'm sure a lot of people that are listening either might be experiencing something that's very hard in their life, and they're probably looking at themselves, rock bottom or at the core. What were some small things that you did to start getting out of that mindset? Did you do anything to get like small victories?
Did I do anything? Man, it's hard. Let me see. I stopped fighting. And what I mean by that is I accepted what it was. I knew that my relationship with my ex wasn't going to be what it used to be. Right? And so it took me a long time, and I'm not talking months. It took me like, I don't know, maybe like a year or so of trying to wrap my head around what was happening, because I'm 40. This happened a few years back. So I'm like, damn, I'm 30 something, and now I got to start all over. So that played a big role in me trying to grasp everything. But once I did, I was like, okay, I just got to accept it for what it is and what it's not anymore. And once I did that, it allowed me to move forward and be okay with the following day. Like tomorrow I'm happy for tomorrow. I'm happy for where I am right now, but I'm happy for tomorrow. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. It wasn't like, oh, man, I gotta wake up tomorrow. And and
I love that.
And yeah, but I mean, it's scary, dude. It's scary, because I in a sense lost my identity.
Yeah. Yeah, a big part. When you're a family man, going from a family man who head of household, you have a spouse, children involved, to now being a father, right? And that's it. You're not in a household anymore. You are yourself, and you still have your 2 kids. And I agree with you. I think that's an honest truth that a lot of us don't face. And it's not just in this very moment, but I think in a very traumatic situation, we tend to fight. Like you said, you were fighting, and I don't know, I might be reading in between the lines, but it almost sounds like you were fighting that reality that needed to set in. Oh, wow. Like, hey, this is a reality, right? 100%. Like, but you were preventing it from setting in. It's like you were creating this force field, and because you weren't allowing reality to set in, you've created this imaginary or a dangerous environment. Let's call it what it is, right? And an environment that didn't let you evolve. And so once you let that fight go, reality set in, and I love that. It almost like it kind of for in a good way, pushed you forward. It propelled you into that maze that we talked about, right? Because you created that goal, which is, hey, kids, we're building our house.
Yeah,
and this is just part of that maze. Oh man, it's crazy. Thanks for sharing that. I really mean that. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Yeah. So let's do this. So that happened, right? Life. I mean, I hate to say it this way, but it sounds like your life kind of shattered a little bit, man.
Yes.
You're picking up the pieces.
Yeah.
And then real estate catches your attention. Has real estate always been in the back of your head? Or did it just kind of come around? What inspired you? And then, like you said, what was that driving factor? It sounds like your kids was one of it in the situation. Were those two the big elements to push you forward?
Yeah. So real estate has and I know we're probably going to get into it a little bit later as well, but I grew up super poor, like super, super poor. Single mom, 4 kids, doing it on her own. But since I was a kid, I've always known that I was meant to do something greater. Always. I don't know where I learned it from, but ever since I was a little kid, I always had these thoughts and emotions and this feeling like I have to do something for this world. I have to be something bigger than just what I am right now. And that is, I think, where real estate came into play, because we lived in super small apartments, studios, that didn't even have a kitchen or that didn't even have a living room, and but I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that because it highlighted to me what really matters, and that's family, and that's love, and that the best thing that you could do for someone is not invest money, but invest your time onto them. Because you can never take
That's a big statement.
You can never take time back. But money, you lose it, you can make it back tenfold, right? But time is something that we just have this much of. But the fact that I was poor, or that I grew up broke, I grew up broke, not poor, broke. It showed me that, hey, if you really care for someone, or if you really care for something, you're going to invest your time into them or into whatever it is that you care for. And that has stuck with me since then, since I was a baby, And, but yeah, real estate's always been something that I've been wanting to do. And it's something that
So in a sense that upbringing, that experience that you lived through as a childhood, again, as you said, as you defined it, it wasn't, there wasn't a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
But I guess in a good way, that kind of drove you to like, hey, this only fuels my want to have something like this, a big house or, 2-story, a pool in the backyard, right?
Yeah.
In a sense. Well, I guess if you tie it together, it's like, I lived through it, therefore I don't want my kids to essentially live through what 100%. I went through.
Yeah.
And then it makes sense why you're driving in the neighborhood now and putting that vision out there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was your upbringing. You have 2 kids, the divorce happens, 2019 rolls around. What's your first investment in real estate? Like, what's the first thing you do to just get into real estate?
So the first thing I did was 2 things. All the money that I had from real estate, I used it to get into a mentorship, which was sub 2, and then purchase PropStream, because I learned it from being in sub 2, how, again, I didn't know anything about anything. So
when you say sub 2, is that like a group, or is that?
Oh yeah. So it's the subject to community, the one that pays Morby is a.
Hey, okay.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Pace, sub 2 community.
Yeah.
So you get involved with the sub 2 community, and I take it that community you learn through the community. Is that correct?
Yeah. So that was the first time I've ever been really introduced to the lingo and anything and everything that really has to do with real estate. Right. And man, I when I first started, I would be making these phone calls. Again, remember, no real estate prior, no knowledge, no lingo. And I would be using these terms and this lingo that I just heard Pace use on a different call, and I would be using them on my call. And it didn't even make sense, right? It wouldn't make sense. I would be using them incorrectly. But it's okay though. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. I didn't know, so I just kept going. I just kept going. I just kept going, and I just did the thing. I wasn't scared of getting rejected. I had just gotten rejected, and with my personal life and stuff like that. I was like, okay, this can't hurt more than what just happened in my personal life. Me getting no is okay. And I just kept doing it. And then, Pace would talk about PropStream, Jamil would talk about it. And then I was, again, with the only money I had, maybe it was irresponsible, right? Because I have 2 kids and it's just me now and then my dog, our dog, excuse me. But again, I'm that type of dude. If I'm going to go all in, I'm going to go all in. And it's a curse and a blessing, I suppose. But again, all the money I had, I got into Sub2 and I bought PropStream. And then I started looking at all the videos of how to pull a list, how to make it so it's super niche to what you want to do. I started stacking layers upon layers, to make it what I thought was a good list. And then I started doing the thing, started calling people, getting no. But then after such a long time of doing that, you finally get that one yes. And then I just and then I just JV'd with someone. And then I was like,
what do you mean by JV? For those that are hearing that term for the long time, is that J like John and V like Victor? Is that correct? Or V like boy?
V like Victor. So
okay, what is that?
Joint venture. So all you're doing is you're teaming up with someone. So like, let's say you and I, Burton, let's say I got a yes and I get this person on the contract. They want to sell their house. And then you have a whole bunch of people that want to buy houses. So then I tell you, hey, Burton, I have this house under contract for X amount of money. Do you have someone that would like to buy it for, I don't know, $20,000 more? Then you and I both make $10,000 and we call it a day. Right.
Okay. Awesome. So essentially it's you do one part of it and then the other person does another part.
Yes.
And then that again gets the deal done. That makes sense. A joint venture. Okay. Perfect. Thank you for explaining that and elaborating that. So you get your first yes. You get the homeowner under contract. You do a JV. Was it a clean transaction or was it like oh my God, this was the craziest first deal I've ever done in my life?
So it was, oh man, I had no knowledge, right? And so I would talk back and forth with the buyer, with the seller, excuse me, back and forth, because I kept forgetting a whole bunch of information. I didn't know, right? I don't, it's like, you don't know what you don't know until you have to know. And you're like, oh my God, I gotta call back.
I like that. Actually, that's a very strong statement. Can you repeat that again? You don't know. What was it?
You don't know what you don't know until you have to know it.
Oh, that's a strong statement. And I'm guilty of that many times. I'm sure it's going to continue to happen going forward.
And it's like, oh, I have to call them again. But then it's good because it punches your ego and it tells you, hey, this is bigger than you. You got to put your ego to the side and just say, hey, I'm sorry, I forgot this information. And you got to keep doing the thing. And finally, after, I don't know, like a whole bunch of calls of me forgetting something, it finally happened. And there's nothing like that feeling you get when you make something out of nothing, out of air. Like it's like you starting up a fire with 2 sticks, you're rubbing them together, you have nothing else and you're doing it. And it feels so rewarding because it's like, you put in the work, you did everything, you went through the self-talks, the down talks, through even the crying or even questioning yourself, hey, am I doing the right thing? Like, should should I get a real job because I have kids now? Like I gotta be able to feed them. I gotta be able to do all this thing. I need to be able to provide to them, And from the time that you start to the time you get your first deal, you feel like nothing's happening, but in reality, you're getting these little micro wins. And you need to have so many micro wins in order to have that big macro win, right? Because it's like you get a call, you get no. That's still a win because you're making calls. You're making calls, and then you make a call, you get a little bit further in that conversation. It doesn't work out, it's still a win because you got further into your conversation. But in order to get to that piece of conversation, you needed to have all these other little micro wins, right? And then you have them so often that you get this big macro win. And it feels so good. It feels like you're on top of the world, and then you just got to do it again.
I love that.
But then you learn how to streamline. You know how to do it faster. You know how to ask the questions that matter and not the questions that don't,
Like you said, I mean, you don't know what you know until you need to know it. And that's cool. That's actually so true. Like, even though you were getting no's along the way, you were like you were saying, you were learning the things, right? You were looking in the mirror back to being at your core, right? You're looking and saying, well, I got to know, how can we prevent that no next time, right? So you're slowly taking these you're changing the variables ever so slightly to get that one big win. That's crazy. I love that. So 2019, you get your first deal. Congratulations. Was it a subject to? What was the type of transaction?
So it was just a wholesale deal, but it was
just a wholesale. Don't say it that way. It was the wholesale deal that changed the trajectory of Mr. Oscar. So
yes,
no, I love that. Okay, so it was a wholesale deal in 2019.
Yes.
Fast forward, we're now 6 years after 2019. Mm-hmm. You're still in real estate.
Yes.
Are you still doing wholesaling?
You know what? So much has happened since then till now. But not as much.
Okay.
The reason is that I'm getting older. I'm 40 now. And for me, my necessity has pivoted. I'm looking more for a long-term, more stable income versus wholesale, where I get the contract, I wholesale it to someone else, I get the money, but now I got to start all over again, essentially. I got to go look for the property, I got to get it under contract, find a buyer, make sure that they get approved or whatever needs to happen in order for them to buy it. I get the money, and then I got to start searching all over again. So for me, that takes energy that I don't want to put into, I don't want to use my energy into that, because I can use my energy for something else. So I do a little bit of it, but it's not what I focus on anymore or really search for anymore.
What are you focusing on now?
So now it's something that is super, super cool, super awesome, and that it's very, very near and dear to my heart, which is helping people. Essentially, you could put labels to it, but it's really helping people in the form of assisted living. Yeah.
Nice.
And,
well, let's. So when you say assisted living, I know, first off, I'm guilty of this because, like, when it comes to real estate transactions and all different strategies out there's a lot.
Yeah.
And so when you first explained to me assisted living, in my head, I was like, oh, you're just going to help me try to find a place to live? No, that's not what it means. So if you don't mind, Oscar, can we elaborate a little bit more on what the true definition of assisted living is when it comes to real estate strategies?
So assisted living, you can use that as a term, as an umbrella, right? Because then there's different type of assisted livings that fall under that assisted living umbrella. So I'm licensed here in California for two different types. One of them is ARF, which is Adult Residential Facility. And for these, they're helping adults from the ages of 18 all the way to 59. And they have some sort of mental disability, and they need the help. So what I get to do, really, what I have the honor of doing is being able to afford that help to them, because sometimes their family members don't have the time or really don't have the skill or the knowledge to be able to help someone, especially when they have some sort of mental instability, right? Because mom, dad, or brother, sister, or whoever's in charge of helping that resident, they have their own family too. They have their own kids. They have themselves that they have to take care of. And they just don't have that proper skill set or time to be able to give to that family member. So I'm blessed that I'm able to do that. I'm able to afford them a room, a nice, beautiful home, caretakers that want to help them, and I love it. I love it because I've always said, if you could just help one person in this while you're here, then you've just changed the world. You just changed the life. And the fact that I'm able to help tons of people, it's cool. It's super cool. It's not easy by any means, but nothing easy is worth doing.
That's great. And that's the ARF, the Adult Residential Facility. What would be the other certification that you have again?
The other one is RCSE. So it is residential RCSE. So residential care for the elderly. So that's for grandma, grandpa, who are above the age of 60. And again, same thing. Family just doesn't have the time to be able to help them, whether it be helping them up to go use the restroom, or maybe they need help being rolled to one side or the other to prevent bed sores. Or maybe they just need help to stand up and maybe taking around the park, stuff like that. Sometimes they have early onsets of dementia. But again, I'm honored that I get to help them, and that I know other people that want and get to help him as well, because it's at one point in time for all of us, we're going to be there. We're going to be in that situation, right? And I would want someone to help me if I need it. And if it comes from my heart and I have the skills, why not? Why not do it?
I love this. So, man, okay, so let's just kind of unwind this a little bit. So, you're in your 40s, late 30s, and you go through a life-altering scenario with the divorce. You have 2 kids. It's 2019, about the time. Man, we got to figure something out. And you had this upbringing as a child, one that's not so great, if you want to call it what it is, right? There's some financial struggles along the way that kind of planted a seed, if you will, that helped propel you into real estate. So you do your first wholesale deal to JV, proof of concept, rinse, recycle, repeat. 6 years go by. You're now in assisted living with 2 licenses under your belt. That's the ARF and the RCFE, which is amazing, brother. We've had this conversation. Where does this giving come from? Did you give back as a kid? Did you do charities? Were you involved in anything in which, this is kind of part of your thing? What did you do before you were, because I know we went from childhood to 40-year-old. So what's the in between? I'm curious as to who you are and what made you kind of pivot into assisted living.
Yeah. So it goes back to me growing up broke, right? Because again, all you can give is your time, and that's all you can give. And feeling that pain of, let me see, how can I word it? Growing up at broke, and then having that, or I don't know how to explain it, like having that pain of man, I'm hungry today, or man, how can my sister or my brother feel sad because we didn't get this toy, or you know what, like how can I help them feel good? Um, it how it brought this thing out of me where like I wasn't able to be 6 years old all the time because I was always trying to worry about my brother or my sister and vice versa, right? We weren't able to be our ages. But I think that's where it started. And then, and I believe in middle school, I started, I went to a library and I started reading for kids. I just volunteered to go read. And it was cool. It was cool because I got
Do you
to,
recall what your reasonings were?
um, I don't recall what made me do it. I think it was to get some sort of credits for school. But then once I finished and I had the credits that I needed, I still kept going because I got to know the little kids and it was cool to read, you know, and it made me feel good. It made me that feel good, like I'm like the big brother and I'm reading to all these little kids that are sitting down, focused, and they're listening to me read, right? Yeah. And then after that, I joined the military. And that is where it really like put this magnifying glass into all of me. From
That's amazing. First off, thank you for serving. What year did you join the military?
so I joined the year after high school. So I graduated 2004. I joined 2005 all the way to 2013. Yeah.
Oh wow! What military division did you join or branch?
Oh, so I was a Navy corpsman, which is a combat medic in layman's terms, but I was attached to the Marine Corps.
Combat medic. Wow, that's awesome. It's starting to connect the dots now. This is actually really cool. So okay, so you're in the Navy. You're a combat medic. You signed up in 2004. I hate to bring it up, but that was a very we were going through some times around that time. So did you go on any tours?
Yeah, I did. I've been to Iraq and Afghanistan. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking you, I don't want to get into the details of what you experienced there, but I do think there's some really important takeaways. You know, working in real estate investing, I know a lot of both military men and women that are involved in real estate. And I've always been curious to ask him a few things. Are you okay if I ask you these questions?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, go ahead.
Obviously, when you're in the military, you're not doing this by yourself. It's you guys are in platoons or in squads.
Yeah.
You guys are always working as a unit, right? A collective unit. What are some key takeaways that you could share that you learned being in a unit? Because I'll be honest with you, I grew up, I would say, most of my teenage years with a little bit of an ego,
Mm-hmm.
and I probably would have been the type to tell you, I'll do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the military, that's not something you could do. So what are some key takeaways that you learned working as a collective unit?
Oh man, there's so many, but just to point out to the one that you highlighted, you can't do anything or everything by yourself. You limit yourself by trying to do everything just yourself. For instance, like me being a combat medic, if I left that job solely onto me, then I would only be able to help or save one person's life. But when I was with a team, I would teach my Marines the very basic thing, right? The very basic thing to provide aid while in a combat zone. So then they could provide that basic aid, but it gave me enough time to be able to help this person, then go to this person, then go to that person. So I went from just being able to help one person to possibly being able to help 10, 15 people. Why? Because I taught others how to do the very basic thing that gave me enough time for me to be able to go to everyone. So not wanting to do it all by yourself.
That's thank you for sharing that. And that's something from an outsider, I see that, and that's something I quite envy, especially in this space. If you think you're going to be able to do it yourself, not saying you can't, again, there's that term solopreneur, but if we're talking scaling, there's going to be other people involved in that. And so I love that. And so thank you for sharing that. It all makes sense now, right? Like you're the assisted living, combat medic. It makes sense. So I love that. How I'm a firm believer, Oscar, that like what you go through in life, what you've experienced, the things that you learn, the wins, the losses, all kind of help you with what you're doing today. In this case, with your real estate investing in your portfolio and the assisted living. And it's crazy. Like as we're peeling the onion, we can literally start lining up your story and we could see how it all kind of connects. So you grow up financially challenged. It literally created this drive in you. Middle school comes around, and I'm sure that's not the start of it, but we're starting to see you exhibit your charitable abilities, right? This passion of wanting to help. Because again, it started with doing it with credits. Now I like doing it because I love these people that I'm doing it for. 2004, you graduate, you join the military, you're a combat medic for the Navy. You're teaching other people how valuable information. We're talking about life-saving information. Like this is a reality. Lots of key takeaways. And so fast forward 2019, that situation happens. You're now in real estate, a few deals, assisted living. I absolutely love your story. You have no idea like how I'm a firm believer, like you said, that helping one person has a huge impact. There's this old adage of a butterfly's wing flap can have dramatic weather effects on the other side of the globe. And that's kind of what I saw, like what I see in your story, how everything from then is why you're in assisted living today and helping those 18 to 59-year-olds and grandma and grandpa. Man, okay. Sorry, I just had to go off a little bit on this. I just had to. But okay, so assisted living is your thing now. You have that. Where are we going with this? Like, what is it that you see in the future for Oscar and his beautiful kids and in your real estate portfolio? Like, are we still doing assisted living? Are we scaling? Is Oscar going to own a hospital one day and I can get free medical care there? Like, what's going to happen?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I mean, ideally, I think if my kids show that type of drive, I think I would want to leave it to them. As long as they're doing it for the right reasons, I would leave it to them. Because any type of healthcare, it doesn't have to be assisted living, it could be anything. You're not dealing with real estate, you're dealing with people. And that takes a certain type of person, that takes a certain patience, that takes a certain type of heart to be able to do that. Because you're dealing with so many people. Like if you have 6 people in one house, that's 6 different characters, 6 different habits, 6 different type of patients, or you know what I mean? So, and 6 different type of family members that you have family, right? So you have to be okay with dealing with stuff like that, and you have to have a heart for it. You have to want to do it. And if you don't, then you're either going to destroy the business along with the people's lives, or you're not going to run it how it should be ran. And if my kids show that type of heart, then that would be, I think that would be my dream. I mean, at the end of the day, they're, like you said, they're the biggest part of why.
I love that.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something, Oscar? Only because, like, as you're saying, the experiences that you're going through, dealing with family members and dealing with the patient, and you got your real estate also intertwined with that, and then your experiences in life. Sounds like you've been through a lot of high pressured situations before, whether it was as a youth in the military or even now dealing with your real estate business. Any words of advice on how to handle a high pressure situation that you've benefited from?
Breathe. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. There's so many times where I was in Iraq or Afghanistan, 19 years old, and then I was in charge of saving this person's life. And I would always because you have to go through so many different boot camps to be able to do what I did, right? It's not just one, it's not just two, it's a whole bunch of different ones. And you have to breathe. You have to breathe. You have to calm yourself down first before you can calm anybody else down. And if they see me calm, if they see me like I'm the expert, then they're gonna be calm too, because they're like, okay, an expert's here. He's handling the situation. Everything's gonna be okay. But
I love that.
But if they see me frantic and hyperventilating, then I'm only adding fuel to that fire. So simple as breathing.
I love that.
Breathe.
Yeah, I you know what? I had, that's a very powerful message. Sometimes I think we can get ahead of ourselves a little bit, and it's almost like running faster than we need to. So just stop, breathe, go from there. Thanks for sharing that.
Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast.
I'd like to ask you this question, only because you've had quite the experience. What does wealth mean to you, Oscar?
Oh, wealth. I think, man, spending time with my kids. Whether it be chilling in bed, watching TV, on the couch, at the beach, playing. At the end of it, that's what matters. Being in the military and being in these foreign countries, right, like Iraq, Afghanistan, being surrounded by violence and death, it gave me a different perspective in what life meant to me and what people mean to me now. I got to see how fast someone could be taken away, in a matter of seconds, days. Like you're there now, and then the next day or the next second, I've seen that they're not there anymore. And having that type of experience, it's just added more to how I love on people and how I see people and how much I appreciate the time that someone gives to me, because again, that's something that I can't give you back your time, but what I can do is show you how much I appreciate the time that you're giving me. And to me, it's the time that I have with my kids. It's the smile that I get to put on them. Whether it's me doing something dumb or embarrassing myself. It's like, as long as they're happy and as long as I'm happy, then in reality, putting money aside, that's wealth. And I also learned it through the divorce, because again, everything that was tangible was taken away, right? But then my kids were still there. My kids still told me, "I love you, Dad." Even when I didn't love myself as much, they still told me, "I love you."
And that didn't even, like you said, that was just their time.
Yeah.
Just their time of saying, "Dad, I love you." Just that split second.
Yeah, or that,
Yeah, that's wealth, man.
or that hug, that hug that you really need, and they give it to you, and it's, yeah, I mean, it's, yeah, wealth is
That's
time.
wealth.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And like that, it goes both ways. Not just you giving what your time, but even when people give you their time, it's wealth as well. I love that. Here's one I'd like to ask you. For your brothers and sisters in uniform out there listening to this episode, is there a message you'd like to give to them?
Yes.
What's your message?
You are not what you're doing right now. Meaning, yes, you're in the military. You're doing a specific job, right? But you're doing that job, so that means that you're not that. You're choosing to do that now. But if you get out, don't let your identity go with the military once you're gone. Because you're capable of more than just what you're doing in the military. I know for me, it was hard. For me, it was super hard because I was in the military for 8 years, from the age of 19, I think, all the way to, I don't know, I think like 20 something, almost 10 years, right? And I had associated myself. I was what I did. That's my ID. And then I ended up getting hurt when I was in Afghanistan, so then I had to get out. Right? So then I was lost. I didn't know who I was. And then I was like, man, how do I find myself? What do I do? Who am I? And then again, the same thing happened when I got the divorce. I was like, damn, I lost another identity. Like, who am I? And through that, I found that I have to be like a chameleon. I can't just be one thing. I can't just be. Even now, I just can't be assisted living, right? Because what happens if that gets taken away? Then am I gonna crash? Am I gonna get depressed? Am I gonna do this, that, and the third? No, I can't ID myself as that. That's something that I'm doing, but that's not who I am. And that's what I tell them. Just, you're more than what you're doing right now. What you're doing is amazing. It's a beautiful thing. Not a lot of people do it. Less than 1% in this whole world don't join the military. So be proud of yourself. Love yourself. And once you get out, do what you really want to do. Do what you want to do. And don't be scared to ask for help. Don't be scared to ask for help.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that message to our brothers and sisters in uniform. Man, that means a lot. Not just to me, but I think to those out there that, can use that inspiration. And I like how you use the chameleon to explain that. I'm a tech guy, so as you're explaining it, I'm like, oh, you're right. You're going to go through situations where you got to evolve a little bit. And even you were saying that, assisted living could pivot, right?
Yeah.
I'm a computer guy, so I look at it as like versions, right? So like as you're saying that, I'm like, oh, does that mean we're going to have a Oscar 4.0 coming up soon? Like, so that's really cool. The last question I want to leave with you, Oscar, is this. One of the things I love doing, one of the reasons why I love doing interviews, I love just recording content and just having this is because I do believe this is going to last for a long time, right? There's this thing called the digital footprint. Mm-hmm. And we know it can be a bad thing, right? Do something, it's going to stay out there forever. But it also could be a good thing. I do believe not your digital footprint can be used against you, but it could be used for you. And so this question, whether you want to participate or not, is kind of for your loved ones in the future. Let's assume this video lands on their lap 20 years from now. And we're talking about your loved ones, your 2 children in this case. What would you like to say to them 20 years from now?
Ooh, man. Dad loves you. Um, Dad loves you with all of his heart, more than you could ever imagine. No, Dad will go through hell and back for you, no questions asked. Um, and that mm, and that everything that happens in life, it doesn't happen to you, but it happens for you. And if
Mm,
you're able to see why it happened and take out the good stuff from it, then the likelihood of that ever happening again becomes smaller and smaller. And well, I think what everybody says, be a good person. Be a good person. Love yourself and be the kids that I know you are, and that the kids that I know, the adults that I know you're going to be. Because at the end of the day, if I can leave this world better than when I came into it, and it's with you guys, Cam and Alyssa, that's all I need. That's all. That's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is not death. I know it. That's imminent. That's going to happen whether you want to do it or not. My biggest fear is not giving my kids that foundation to be able to be the greatest versions of themselves. And I will work at that all day, every day, twice on Sunday, because I love them. I love them with all my heart. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you for that awesome message to your future loved ones. Oscar, I don't know where to begin to even thank you for giving me your time today. First off, I want to thank you for sharing your story. I want to thank you for your service. I want to thank you for even what you're doing today with the, your assisted living real estate that you're doing, or your real estate portfolio, which includes assisted living. Man, you're an awesome human being. I just want to let you know that. And I'd like to just say this, life is going to continuously evolve. And as you said, who knows what the future holds for any of us. Would you be open to maybe us doing a follow-up and just kind of seeing where life may be in a few months from now?
Anytime, bro. I love these. I like it when we get to know who the person really is, because it's such a cool story. Like, I want to know how Burton got to be the Burton that you are right now, I think that's super.
Who knows?
Because no one starts being who they are right now. There has to be reasons, right? And for me, to be able to love as hard as I do, I had to go through so much bad, through so much ugliness, through so much darkness, so much so that now I don't want anyone, if I can help it, I don't want anyone to feel that same darkness or be in that same darkness. So me going through all that made me who I am. If I wouldn't have gone through all that dark, black through my life, then I wouldn't be able to love as hard as I do. Going back to Iraq, I remember we were going through this village, and we're talking to the elders, and they were telling us, these kids are they're sick, right? They have diarrhea. So I give them Imodium, and then there's other kids that would come in, and he wasn't sick, but I remember I gave him a lollipop, just a regular lollipop, and I smiled at him, and he gave me this big grin from ear to ear. And then I was like, dang, man, we're surrounded by this, all this violence and everything. But then for a few minutes while this kid is eating this lollipop and I give him this smile, all of that disappears. Right? And it comes back to the simple stuff. Just smile, even saying good morning to someone, smiling at someone, maybe that's what they need to hear. Maybe they just, hey, how you doing? Good morning. Just smile, because you never know what could be happening in their life. But the fact that you even just acknowledge that they're there, that maybe could change the way that the rest of their day goes.
I love that.
So
that's so strong. Thank you so much. And very powerful message that we're leaving that off with. So again, Oscar, thank you so much for your time today that you invested with us. Thank you again for your service and everything that you stand for. And looking forward to our next episode where we get to follow up with you in the next few months. But until next time, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. My name is Burton, and this is another wonderful episode of PropStream Pros. So make sure you tune in for our next episode. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the PropStream Pros podcast. Subscribe for weekly insights and real strategies to help you close more deals. See you next time.